child, my sister and mom dragged me into it. And at first I kind of hated it, but I grew to love it, and I grew to love the competition and the spirit that the competitors have. It's an insane asylum. You just get a bunch of kids who are either wicked smart or wicked funny or wicked sharp, and you just throw them in a room, and there's a bunch of different topics, different categories. Me personally, I was an interp kid, best realm of speech, competitive acting. So you're going up, pretending, making judges laugh, making judges cry. And then there's the informative stuff where a bunch of nerds go up and either research for 30 minutes, which is insane, or 4 minutes, which is even more insane. And it's just a bunch of smart kids doing smart things.
I was inspired to kind of start competing and join a speech team because, I mean, my mom was the coach, so when your mom tells you to do something, you kind of can't say no, but also just, my mom and I are very similar, both physically, like we look like the same person, but very emotionally and spiritually as well. Like we have so much in common, and what drives us is so similar, and so far my life path has kind of lined up with hers perfectly. And so she did speech in high school, and I at that point had already fallen in love with theater, and so it felt very natural to just kind of join and do this thing with my mom. But I also was kind of, I was kind of a lost kid. I'm a lost adult, but it feels a lot more of a big deal to, not have a lot of friends or have a big community when you're 13. And you don't really have the tools to build that, and joining the speech team gave me those tools to kind of have community and friends and relationships that I just didn't have.
Coaching you and coaching your little brother was more challenging than I could have ever possibly imagined. But with any challenge come the best rewards, right? And so flash forward to each of your senior years, all of that emotion, all of that worry, all of that fear, the flip side of that coin was I got to see you guys get the win, right? And so it, just like childbirth itself, it erases all the pain, and you're willing to do it again. But looking back, I can't believe that I was able to maintain the level of connection and friendship parenting with you guys through that. Because it was very, very hard. It was the challenge of my parenting life with you guys. Because no one gives you a textbook of when to turn off mom and when to turn on coach.
Well, I'll tell you that coaching my own kids was not easy. The personalities did not mesh very well, given, just how similar yet how different we were, specifically Joey and I. There were certain times where I was able to reach him, but then there were other times where it just, my intensity did not match his intensity. So by the time he got to high school, I think he was just done. And then he was gravitating towards the speech, which in the long run I think is going to be 1,000 times more beneficial for him moving forward versus if he had done 4 years of high school wrestling or any other sport for that matter. I think his decision was the best decision for him. And as a coach, I always want my athletes to be able to think about those type of things. Think about, is this really for me? Am I really enjoying it? Because if you're not enjoying something, why bother doing it? So, and he wasn't having any fun doing it. So that was the coach in me. Now the dad in me, that was tough. That was a tough pill to swallow, given that, we as parents vicariously live through our kids. That's just, you're never going to get rid of that. And I'll honestly think that if we don't want what's best for our kids, or we don't want the kids to have the same accolades and positive aspects from that, then I guess we're not really doing a good job as a parent.
Nobody believes me when I say this, but, and you can attest, we didn't get special treatment. We were held to the exact same standards as everybody else in that room. And at times, for me at least, I was held to a higher standard. People wanted, there were a couple of people that would put on this idea of, oh, you're the coach's kid, you get this because you're the coach's kid, you get that because you're the coach's kid. It's like, I didn't get anything without proving myself. I didn't get anything without earning it. I had to work twice as hard to be captain my senior year because my mom didn't want anybody to question why it was me. I walked into that room, 11:01, for speech practice, and I wasn't my mom's kid. I was a member of the speech team. And that wasn't my mom, that was my coach. And so it's a little hard to have that separation and that cut and that divide in your relationship. But I do think at the end of the day, it brought us closer. I think my mom has and always will be my best friend. But it wasn't always easy. I had a lot to prove. Not necessarily to her, because she thought I was great, because she's my mom. But there's definitely a level of having to prove myself to a lot of people that I wasn't just a coach's kid. I was that good.
That's hard. It's hard to give you guys an equitable experience to everyone else. And it's hard to manage your own emotions. It's hard to manage your own emotions daily as your coach, giving feedback in a fair way, giving constructive criticism in a fair way. And it's really hard when you guys don't get what you want. That is the most emotionally challenging thing of the entire experience, is when other students don't do well, it's very easy to separate. Oh, that you had a bad day, it's fine. But when it's your own, you physically feel it, and that was tough. But on the other side of that, you also physically feel the joy of your wins. Mm-hmm. And so the other, like I said, the other side of that is hearing your name called.
Because it would be your name too.
It doesn't matter in the moment. It didn't matter in the moment. It wasn't anything about me. And seeing you guys get what you deserved, because you had so many more challenges than just the average kid. You had the expectation, and I know growing up with your grandfather, what it was like to not be a great soccer player, and everyone expected you to be the best soccer player on the field because of Jose Sanchez was your father. And I could hold my own, but certainly not the way that you and your brother turned out in speech, where you were the best in the room. And you shouldn't have had more to prove, but you had more to prove because you were my kid. And so for you to go into these competitions and be judged by someone who is not me, from not the region, who doesn't know who you are, and for you to take those championships home, that was the most validating thing for me as your mother coach, to see you guys get that validation, because that's all I ever wanted for you guys to know was in your heart. You didn't get the success you got because you were mine. You got that success because you worked really hard and you listened to me as your coach, not your mom. And that was a beautiful thing to be a part of.
She knew what I could do. She knew that I was capable and talented. So a lot of times she, with her motherly trust, would give more time to the other people on the team that needed it. And then I'd end up having Rowan over in the middle of the night, and then I'd make her coach us then. But I also think it helped, because speech and debate is such an emotional, difficult thing, and having your mom there to support you definitely helps out, because there's no one I know who knows more than what she does. So being able to trust her as a coach and as a mom really helped us get through some of the tougher competitions and stressful moments.
Watching all of you guys compete, I said it a million times, when you guys would come home from those speech competitions, you could tell you guys were exhausted, you were sweaty, you probably sweated through your undershirts, just that's I'm a convert to this speech idea. Kids have to find their passion. They have to find something they're passionate about. And watching you guys find your passion, and I can't complain about that.
I mean, you come from a household entirely of coaches. Your husband coaches, your 2 adopted sons coach, your kids coach.
My mother coached, my father coached.
So do you think that there is
A gene, yes. Yeah, I think there's a teacher gene. You know, you can argue whether it's nature or nurture, but it's there. It's there. It's fostered in the way that you bring your family up. It's a personality trait. It's a learned trait, and there's probably a lot of biological, just the brain chemistry it takes to be able to do this. It's got to be something physical and scientific as well.
I mean, the coaching's teaching, and let's even those that preach, you know, that idea of being the person that imparts knowledge. I think there definitely is a gene, because not everybody can get up in front of a group, whether it's students, children, young adults. It's not easy. And so it does take a certain type of person to be able to do that. And frankly, there is that teaching gene. Also, your mom is always right. So
Speech and debate, I think it's cliche to say speech and debate changed my life and made me who I am. But truly, like, it changes you. It makes you more compassionate. It gives you a deeper sense of empathy. You're taking on other people's stories through these interp events, or if you're in limited prep, you are constantly taking in more and more knowledge. If you're in platform, you're really expressing your own ideas and your own thoughts and your own feelings in a time when, at an age when you don't really have a lot of people looking to you for your opinion. And so it always felt natural and felt obvious that I would go back to it in some capacity, and I've been judging for years. And just knowing how good it was for me as a young person, and given the opportunity to kind of give that to somebody else and give it to the next generation and allow a kid to feel seen and heard and understood. And the way that I was as a speech competitor just felt like the natural progression of where I was going and what I needed in my life.
one of the aspects of coaching that has really been very positive for our family is we've been able to kind of expand our family beyond just, like the biological kids. We've got several students and kids over the years that gravitate towards us. They call us mom and dad. They're just as part of our family as the next. And there's been a lot of satisfaction in that as well, getting to know young kids who are trying to make their way, and for them to find something that they're passionate about really makes for a better experience as a coach, primary, secondary, as a parent as well.
It makes me proud because everyone in my family is doing what they love without any hesitation, without any care. They're just doing what they love.